Hi there. I'm not a heavy follower of most of the celebrity chefs, but I was saddened to hear of the passing of Anthony Bourdain in June of 2018. That's because Bourdain did indeed change my life in a small but meaningful way. He introduced me to Vietnamese pho, which is possibly the best noodle soup in the entire world. In 2011, I watched a video of Bourdain's TV series in which he practically had an orgasm on camera when he ate this Vietnamese noodle dish. It was funny, and it inspired me to try pho myself in Boston's Chinatown, and my life has never been the same. I will indeed go out of my way for a bowl of pho, and if you've been fortunate enough to experience pho yourself, you'll probably feel the same way. And so, as a tribute to the way Anthony Bourdain helped me to discover a wonderful culinary experience, here is my attempt at creating Vietnamese pho bo here in my kitchen.
Pho requires a lot of necessary ingredients, but because it's so popular, you can get a packet of pho spices at an oriental market for less than $2 in many places. Be sure to include some fresh ginger and an onion, because all of this is necessary for producing the broth. Once the spices are gathered together, we toast the spices in order to really bring out their flavor. It's possible to simply add the spices to a cloth bag, but charring them over medium heat is an extra step you don't want to miss. And now we can begin the longest and hardest part of this whole process. A traditional pot of pho is made in one pot, but I find it convenient to bring 2 pots of water to a boil. Since we're making beef pho here, it's necessary to use beef bones for the bone marrow to flavor the broth and give it a unique taste. The bones release a lot of ugly fat into the broth, and they have to be washed off in order to get rid of that extra fat. After rinsing off the bones, we add them to the second big pot of boiling water. This way we don't have to take the extra time to wash out the same pot and bring it back to a boil. And from here, we add some salt, sugar, and Asian fish sauce. Fish sauce also helps to give pho a savory flavor unlike anything else, and we can't skip this. The best beef to add to the broth is brisket because it has to be slow cooked all day, and that's exactly what we'll be doing here. This is an all-day project as we need to slowly simmer the broth for at least 3 hours to bring out the flavor. It's necessary to keep an eye on the broth and skim the scum from the surface again and again and again. The key to a good broth is for it to be clear and light so it won't be greasy and full of fat. Take a look at the stuff that won't be going into this broth because we took the time to remove it. When we get to around 3 hours, we can begin preparing the garnishes for serving our guests. Pho requires a lot of time and a lot of ingredients from beginning to end, so we want to take our time here and not rush. We'll be adding green onions and cilantro to the finished pho before serving. We arrange bean sprouts, mint, and basil leaves on a platter, along with some chunks of lime, and it's important to have hoisin sauce and hot sauce available for extra flavor. Finally, just as we're ready to serve, we prepare the ban pho, the rice noodles. Ban pho noodles are very fragile and they have to be made immediately before serving because they only take a few minutes to boil in water. If you wait too long, the noodles will congeal into a thick lump, and we don't want that to happen. And once the noodles are ready, it's time to put everything together and serve a fresh, hot bowl of pho. We place the meat on top of the noodles, fill the bowl with the wonderful broth, and add some onions and cilantro. It's an important tradition for pho to be served with a lot of garnishes so your guests can pick and choose and add the flavors they like. And here we have a steaming hot bowl of pho with a taste that appeals especially to you. Maybe this is why Anthony Bourdain was so much in love with the cuisine of Vietnam, because you can prepare a dish that appeals to you, and no two dishes are ever alike.
Do some research on Anthony Bourdain's career, and you'll find one theme that repeated itself over and over. He wanted to try new things, and especially new foods from all over the world. With pho, he inspired me to try something new, and I'm glad to be able to present this here. If you've never had pho, you have no idea what you're missing, and you really need to give this a try. Or, at the very least, seek out and try something new or something different. Take a chance, and there's always a possibility that you'll discover something that appeals to you in a manner that you never expected. And that is one of the greatest reasons to learn how to cook, or indeed, to live. Thank you for watching.